Agent Zaza, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Guang Guang.
The creator tournament is about to start. Your mission is to throw your games as Widow so that Kingman can't pay his college tuition. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good job, Zaza Stack.
Well, damn. I didn't expect the Grand 2-6 to pop off in the way that it's popping off right now. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, or even just based on the thumbnail alone, because I know it may not paint the full picture here, but I am referring to this recent Marvel Rivals controversy with the tournament that took place not too long ago as of recording this video. A tournament that had a prize pool of $40,000. Yes, folks, that's right, $40,000. And this tournament had a lot of content creators that's, very well known within the Marvel Rivals community, and one in particular that's known as the One Trick Pony Black Widow, that being Zaza, who was also on a team with other content creators or live streamers, and the team captain was, of course, CC, the greatest team captain there is out in the Marvel Rivals community. Not. And one particular player, the most notorious one out of this whole group, the one that's been getting the most traction out of any of these bimbos, is Kingsman, the one guy that was hard carrying as Magic when it came to practicing for this tournament, or even, trying to apply himself in this tournament, because the rest of his teammates, or at least a few of them, didn't give a fuck about the $40,000 that was on the line, or at least the $3,000 that was going to be, given to them individually. Well, unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances with, having a bimbo as your team captain, or even a one-trick pony Black Widow player who refuses to swap. Of course, Kingsman gets kicked out of this tournament, and even makes a whole video on this on his YouTube channel. It's like a little over an hour long. I'm not going to go over all that or even watch all of that, but I think if you could watch enough just to get the overall point that he had a lot of stupid bitches on his team, and he was hard carrying. And these women, long story short, they fucking ruin everything, especially gaming. And I've been telling you Simps this a long time, and that's pretty much what this video is about. It's not going to necessarily be a summary on what happened or this whole controversy, because there's enough YouTubers, content creators that are covering this whole controversy within the Marvel Rivals community and the overall implications that it's having on the gaming as a whole. But that's actually something I was going to cover in this particular video, is how female coded this community is, or how the Marvel Rivals community is, and how even as something as big as gaming is being affected with female influence and females dominating male dominated spaces. They're trying to invade male dominated spaces, and gaming is no exception to this. And that's pretty much what this video is going to be about. The overall aftermath of this whole situation, the backlash online against these content creators such as CC and Zaza Stack and some other stupid bitch, and the overall backpedaling from CC, who is just not taking accountability for her actions, and even someone like Zaza, who's also doing the same, because, these women's egos, they've been unchecked for a long time, and once we start checking them, they fold. They instantly fold. They don't know how to apologize for anything, because they have people in their ear just, being complete yes men all the time. They have simps in their ear all the time telling them that, they can do no wrong. They don't need no man, all that. That sort of mentality. That's what we've been dealing with for a long time within the gaming sphere. And a lot of people have reached their breaking point with this. And I think in the Grand 2-6, we have reached our breaking point. It's time for the new era to begin with, calling these bimbos out, calling these bitches out for their bullshit. And just, we're not going to take any more of this shit anymore. That's what this video is about. But before I get into all this, drama within the Marvel Rivals community, and just the community as a whole, and how some people are responding to this, good and bad. But before I get into all that bullshit, I want you guys to go ahead and do your due diligence and like and subscribe to the channel, because you are not going to miss out on this certified banger content in the Grand 2-6. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Now, firstly, I wanted to point out something, or show you something on screen here, and I don't know if I can show the whole tweet or in its entirety, but this is something I was going to read out because it just paints you a picture of what happened with Kingsman's situation, CC, Zaza, and I think the Lucia bitch, or whatever her stupid name is. But this guy says, a little out of my wheelhouse, but in a recent Marvel Rivals tournament, streamers CC and Zaza Stack and Lucia were involved in having teammate Kingsman 265 removed for toxicity. CC was team captain, and Zaza is a Black Widow OTP, sniper one-trick pony, a notoriously bad character. During scrims, Zaza had a 200 ping and was 0-5 while Kingsman was 18-6 KD. Kingsman did his best to insist she switch to a different character and that the team of 6 go with the 3 healer comp as the other teams would do it. He even offered to be one of the healers. CC and Zaza conspired to complain that the tournament host and Zaza's boyfriend, Kaplunk, wrote up a Google Doc to expose Kingsman's reasonable behavior. Kingsman was removed. Afterwards, recordings were released of the 3 mocking Kingsman's etiquette, as well as his desire to win the 40K and put his share towards his college tuition. They would go on and laugh that he had no social skills due to playing games inside of all of his life. Once this blew up, all involved would reject any accountability, with CC blaming her actions on having a panic attack. You know, after reading all that, the worst part of all of this is that these bitches thought they could get away with it without any sort of accountability or without any sort of backlash from the internet. Well, they were sorely mistaken. And as of recording this video, not much has gotten better for any of these bimbos in question, because a lot of them still are not taking accountability, or they're issuing fake apologies on Twitter using ChatGPT. And of course, the internet has picked up on that, and they see how insincere these bitches are. And it's really bad when you have someone like CC who has issued this so-called apology, and she instantly gets community noted, stating otherwise. Like, that's actually insane. And what's also insane is how big this controversy has blown up, because I didn't really expect it to get this big, but I mean, just imagine that, you know, you're a guy trying to win, you know, $3,000 from a $40,000 prize pool, and, you know, you have stupid bitches on your team that just simply don't give a fuck about that. And even when you explain the situation in a very rational way, saying like, hey, I want to pay off my college tuition, I could really use this money, and, you know, you're telling your teammates to swap if we want to win this, and what they respond with is basically telling you to shut the fuck up, or that, you know, it's for the vibes, bro. It's for the vibes. You're giving this bitch a panic attack over here. Like this is fucking insane. But I'm glad it's gotten this big, because it honestly just highlights how a lot of women in gaming, unfortunately, have ruined it, and it's because of attitudes like these, or attitudes like this in particular, where they think they could just talk all this shit, you know, talk down to people and get away with it because they are expecting their fan base to back them up for it, and they expect other women to back them up on their bullshit. And this is actually one of the few times where this didn't happen, and it's blown up in their face, and people are finally starting to, you know, partake in the woman question, or at least within the gaming sphere. And I know with this certain controversy, you're going to have all these different white knights pop up, and especially other women that are probably going to try to defend these bitches, say that we shouldn't make this a gender thing. It's an ego thing. It's a competitive thing. It has nothing to do with women ruining gaming. And it's like, actually, no, this is actually the highlight of that. And this has been something that's been going on for a long time. And is that to say that every single woman that plays video games is ruining the gaming industry, or just the gaming sphere as a whole? Not necessarily, but a good chunk of them have ruined it altogether. And it's just because they simply can't handle male-dominated spaces. And it's like, when you try to put women in male-dominated spaces, such as gaming, the quality tends to go down, and we have to walk on eggshells around these bitches. We have all these HR people trying to tone police gamers on what they can and can't say about women in gaming, or even when you have a stupid bitch in your lobby throwing your games, you can't talk shit to them. But I think the conversation has finally evolved into this. We're finally putting our foot down and saying enough is enough. Gamers have finally reached their breaking point, and actually society in general has reached its breaking point with like the woman question in terms of, you know, the gaming sphere. And you know what's funny is that even a lot of women were saying that people like CC, Zaza, and that Lucia bitch, or whatever her name is, they were even saying that these bitches were setting them back like 100 years. Like that's how bad this whole situation's gotten. But what I'm saying right now is really nothing new. I know there's plenty of other people who are, you know, well versed on this topic that have been covering this, especially with like women, and just actually not even just women, but libtards in gaming that have invaded all these spaces and have completely ruined it. Especially like melee fighter tournaments, or like the Smash Brothers community, or like just anything related to that. If you know, you know. And there's honestly a lot of deeper problems with this. It's not even just women in particular. I don't hate women, if that's what you think, or if that's what you've gotten from this video so far. That has really nothing to do with it. I don't hate anybody. But I'm just saying, when it comes to like women in gaming, or like at least a lot of these, you know, streamer types, or people who have these like massive egos within like the, like let's say the Marvel Rivals community, Yeah, that's not only a problem right now, but that's been a problem for a long time, especially like these women invading, like, let's say Call of Duty, the Call of Duty space, Grand Theft Auto. And when I say Grand Theft Auto, I mean just go look at the developer team for Grand Theft Auto 6, and then you tell me if that's going to be a good game or not. But something I was going to mention, and this is a particular individual that was actually a point of controversy within the Marvel Rivals community, and that is this Capone fellow who actually is kind of saying what I'm saying, but he made a whole TikTok on saying, like, basically saying that on average women tend to ruin gaming. And because he said that, especially within like Marvel Rivals, or it wasn't even just necessarily Marvel Rivals in general, but he was just like speaking generally that women tend to ruin gaming, or at least a lot of women that just, you know, they get on and they act like, you know, people are just going to defend them just because they're a woman. They tend to ruin the vibe altogether. And honestly, women just don't have that same level of competitiveness as men do. I mean, that's where I would say that this is a gender thing, because we are different. The way we play is different. And yes, are there good female players in Marvel Rivals or any other game? Sure, but on average, that's typically not the case, and a lot of them, in fact, do sell. And like, I'll give you an example of this. There was one time where I had a girl on my team. I think it was like a ranked game maybe, and she was playing Luna Snow. And for some reason, this stupid bitch was like trying to. I think it was just her and some other teammate that was like charging like head first into the other team. Like it was like a 2v6, honestly. And Emma Frost on my team was telling the stupid bitch to back the fuck up. And then she was like,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
And I know some of y'all are going to be like,
oh, you can't use anecdotal evidence.
It's like, actually, yes, I can, and fuck you. But all jokes aside, folks, no, in all seriousness, that just goes to show you that men and women think differently when it comes to playing games or just anything in general. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. That's just how we are. That's how God intended us to be. And I know a lot of you are going to get very mad at that, or at least some of you are going to get mad at that. Those that just aren't smart to begin with. But kind of going back to the Capone guy, like what he said wasn't really wrong. I know a lot of people jumped his nutsack for that, and you had all the white knights come out and defend women altogether. They want to defend the bitch's honor, even though she's not gonna let you hit, bro. Okay, moral of the story is she's not gonna let you hit it. Stop trying to defend her. That's gonna go nowhere in life. You will go nowhere in life thinking like that. But to get back on track, Capone, a lot of people are starting to acknowledge that, yeah, he actually low-key did have a point, and he has actually mentioned this himself, because ever since this whole Kingsman situation happened and, like, you know, him getting kicked out of that tournament, Capone basically said that, like, you know what, things would have probably gone differently if there was a male Black Widow player and then a male support. Maybe if those two things happened, things probably would have gone a lot differently. And honestly, I think he's right, because and here's the thing, I don't even think a guy would stick on Black Widow, to be honest, or like try to one trick with Black Widow. I think the guy would probably be more susceptible to the idea that, hey, maybe we should switch against a team that's going triple support. You know, like that's how I think that would go. And I think that was the overall point the dude was making. But, you know, a lot of people have brought up Capone now, and a lot of them are trying to say like,
no, he's still wrong for what he said about women in gaming. Women don't ruin gaming. Women are queens in gaming.
And I'm being a little hyperbolic saying that last part, but that's the overall vibe that I'm getting from all these dipshits that are saying that Capone is still wrong. And you even had someone like Kingsman who also chimed in and said that Capone shouldn't be using the situation to basically prove what he said about women in gaming. He's like, I'm still not cool with you, bro chacho, or he said something like that, and then claimed that Capone was deleting his comments on TikTok, which didn't happen, by the way. I think TikTok just filters out comments where you put everything in uppercase letters or something like that. But despite all that, I think there's a lesson in all this, not just like women in gaming, but like especially with Kingsman, for example, or as an example of this. If you actually, you know, listen to how he was like kind of handling himself in the tournament or like the scrims, he really wasn't doing anything wrong. Like some dipshits out there who can't really take a position on anything were saying that he may have come across as antagonistic to Zaza for not switching off a Black Widow. And if you actually listen to what Kingsman was saying, he really wasn't being antagonistic. He was strongly suggesting that she do switch or go someone else. He even said, you know, I'll even switch myself. I'll go support or do whatever we need to for the team to win. That's what he was basically saying. And then, of course, you know, he's completely reasonable throughout this whole situation. He's not being ugly. He's not cussing them out. And of course, someone chimes in and tells him to shut the fuck up. And then that, like, you know, he's bringing down the vibes or whatever. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what you say to these bitches. Like, you could be the most respectful man you could possibly be. You could be chivalristic or whatever. You can show signs of chivalry, and they still don't give a fuck. Okay? And this is what happens when we allow bitches like this to go unchecked for a long-ass time. They think they can get away with it. They think they can, take advantage of you being the nice guy or whatever. And they think they can just push you around. And guess what? That's not happening this time, okay? The moral of the story is to always take your own side and never virtue signal. And that is actually something Kingsman can learn from this, is to not virtue signal. Even when everyone's on your side, and even like the developers for Marvel Rivals take your side, you don't have to virtue signal and say shit like,
don't make this a gender thing. Don't be misogynistic about this whole situation.
And I'm not saying he necessarily said that specifically, but I noticed a lot of other people decide to virtue signal. And to that I say, go fuck yourselves for doing that shit. Do not ever do that. Take your own side. Call these bitches out. Because, I mean, these bitches did not care about, money being on the line, or that this could have changed someone's life. Like, especially someone like Kingsman, who said he could have really used the money to pay off his college tuition, and, for many other things that could have really helped him out in the long run. And honestly, something you can learn from this is that, when somebody tells you who they are, they kind of show their ass off to you, believe them. And honestly, there is, there's a good side to this, because, CC has actually lost sponsorships because of this whole incident, because, she showed her ass off to the world, and, people didn't take too kindly to that. People don't fuck with that, actually. And people also don't fuck with that Zaza chick who's still running her mouth and just basically backpedaling, or actually not even just not taking accountability, but basically saying she's not really sorry for the whole thing. Or that's kind of the gist of it, from what I understand. Basically, none of these bitches are remorseful for anything that they do in their lives. They have no remorse for their actions, no comprehension of what like consequences are, just nothing like that. And they're used to doing that. But you know what? They're getting a reality check, and that's the good side to all this. That right there is the silver lining. But one last thing I'm going to mention before I conclude this entire video on this whole situation is the overall Marvel Rivals community, and how female coded it's been for it's actually been female coded for a long time. Let's just put it that way. And I don't necessarily mean I'm not necessarily talking about women specifically, or like this isn't a segment where I'm just going to hate on women in particular. I'm actually talking about more like the simps and the cuckolds and the white knights altogether. Those are the people I'm actually referring to in this section, the ones that have kind of allowed this behavior to go on for too long when it comes to like players throwing all these tantrums in games. And when it comes to like any sort of controversy, you hear like how bitch made certain content creators are when discussing any sort of topic. That's actually what I'm going to be referring to in this segment of the video. Now, a common trend I noticed when people would bring up this whole Kingsman situation, initially when this whole thing began, I noticed a lot of the bigger creators, like especially Tim the Tatman, when he would discuss it, or when he was discussing this topic, like he kept doing this thing where he's like, I'm not going after anyone specifically. This isn't hate towards anyone in particular, but this is generally speaking about OTPs, or one trick ponies, and how they play. And it's like, no, dude, at this point, take a side, take a position. Say Zaza was in the wrong, say CC was in the wrong. Just do that. And luckily others started doing that. But all these bigger creators, and like the way they talk about certain situations like this, like they're too busy trying to virtue signal and like try to neuter their own language just so they don't piss anyone off, or piss off anyone big in general, or just a whole fan base. And it's just like, dude, at this point, like, who gives a fuck about pissing people off? Like, this is why I don't really care about like trying to appeal to everyone, because if you try to appeal to everyone, you're going to appeal to no one at that point in time. And I'm a firm believer in fine-tuning your audience. Like, just go ahead and speak your mind from the very beginning. Just say what's on your mind, regardless if it's going to make people mad or not. Like, I want to fine-tune my own audience. Like, I want the right people following me, and I don't care if I lose a few subscribers if like I say something that pisses you off. Like, so be it. You were never real to begin with. Like, sorry, I don't want simps and white knights and cucks in my comment section, or just anywhere in general. Like, I don't want to deal with these people. They're annoying. They ruin everything. And speaking of that, talking about like the content creators, there was a few others I saw trying to discuss this whole topic, especially like from beginning to end, or like not necessarily end because it's still kind of ongoing, especially with like how CC and Zaza and all those other bimbos have responded to this whole situation. I noticed a lot of people when they were trying to analyze the gameplay itself and like Kingsman's reaction or like his commentary during the scrims. I noticed a lot of these guys were trying to simp and saying like he was being a little too antagonistic to Zaza. Like he should have had a nicer tone and shit. It's like, are we seriously having grown men in the Grand 2-6 trying to tone police how guys should be talking during games? Are we seriously doing that right now? Like, fuck all that. Like, this is a tournament for a grand prize of like 40k or a prize pool of 40k. Like, what are we talking about? I have to watch my tone. Like, who the fuck are you, dude? And I did see one guy say, he was like,
this is not a gender thing. This is a competitive thing.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, and like, because shortly after that, he kind of low-key makes an argument as to why it's a gender thing without saying that it's a gender thing, highlighting that, you know, men and women are different in terms of like their competitive spirit. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but you're too busy trying to virtue signal saying it's not a gender thing when it is. And you see so many of these guys are so scared, like down to their nuts, that they don't want to say that men and women are different or say that, you know, men take shit seriously more so than women do when it comes to stuff like this, especially when there's money on the line for a tournament like this. Like that should be the point you should be taking away from this, not that it's not a gender thing just because you're scared of women screeching at you. And you don't even have to take the position that like women are just never competitive or they can't win games. Like, no, you don't even have to take that argument. You could just say, yeah, guys, we're different. We are totally different how we play and how we do shit in life. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. But it's this overall mentality that I think has been plaguing Marvel Rivals since day one. Like, this sort of mentality that, like, you have to watch your tone, you have to watch what you say, or else you're gonna piss somebody off, and like you got to be nice so they don't throw the game. And it's like, no, I feel like there's a fundamental problem with that. Like, if your feelings are getting easily hurt just because I say you need to switch to a different character or this character isn't working for you, no, you have a problem right there, okay? It's not me saying that to you. You're just being a libtarded bitch who can't take any valid criticism during a game, and then you decide to ultimately throw or go, you decide to pick a throw pick such as Black Widow or, you know, sometimes Adam Warlock, because that does happen, especially like if you tell somebody to go on support and they do, and they pick like Jeff or Adam. It's just like, okay, like what are we doing at this point? Or those that want to hard lock DPS, even though they're not really good at playing DPS, especially Spider-Man players. No offense to those that are actually good at the character, but a lot of you guys that pick Spider-Man or even have Lord Spider-Man, you're not that great and you need to pick a different character. And it's people like that who constantly complain about like certain features in the game or like how powerful some characters are, like Invisible Woman, for example. Like, I see so many of these simps complaining about how powerful she is and like how she can self-shield and whatever and how much health she gets back from doing that. Like, it's those type of people that throw games that are the ones that constantly complain about certain characters in the game. And then when those like good characters get nerfed, like people are like, oh damn, why is this character so unplayable now? It's like, well, you can thank this little biatch over here who keeps throwing your games. It's someone like him, or it's somebody like that guy who's doing shit like that. Like, that's how female coded this has become. Like, just these people that whine all the time. They throw games because somebody hurt their feelings in the VC or the voice chat. And like, you don't even have to like get on the mic to piss some of these people off. Like, you just simply type in the chat like, hey, Jeff, please switch, and then the person will get super fucking mad, or will be like, hey, I have the ace actually. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, you get shit like that, and it's like, oh my gosh, can you get off the fucking game? Can you just like stop playing video games altogether? Like, you can't handle it. Especially people in ranked who don't know how to ban certain characters if they, you know, if they're playing, let's say they're going support and they don't want to deal with the dive, like let's say Magic, and you try to explain that in your chat, and somebody's like, why the fuck would we do that? Why would we ban Magic? Or someone like Groot, for example. Like, I remember saying one time, I'm like, can we ban Groot? Because nobody takes out the walls, nobody does anything with that. And somebody was like, that's actually a dumb reason for you to even ban him for that, especially as a penny player. I'm thinking, like, that wasn't the point of me saying that. What does me having to be a penny player have to do with any of that? I simply said DPS doesn't take out a lot of the projectiles, especially Groot walls, so I want to get rid of the guy. I don't want him to be an obstacle in our way, especially when we're pushing the objective. It's people like that who just do not think far ahead and they act like fucking girls the entire time. Like, that's what pisses me off about this. Like, I would honestly make the argument that I get more upset at those people than, say, like someone like Cece and Zaza. Like, I would expect that from someone like them, or especially Zaza, who's a one-trick pony. Like, I would expect that from her, but like these other people that actually do know better and can do better but refuse to, no, fuck y'all. Y'all are little bitches. Y'all ruin this game constantly. And hopefully, whatever favorite character you play, I hope they get nerfed to the ground. And same goes for anyone trying to white knight about this whole controversy, saying that Kingsman should have watched his tone, he shouldn't have been antagonistic, all this, that, and the third. Yeah, I hope your favorite characters as well get nerfed to the ground. But yeah, that's going to conclude my overall section of this video, and just this video in general. I think I've spoken long enough about this topic and just the implications behind it. Yeah, I don't care for the White Knights. I don't care for the Simps. Fuck this female-coded community within Marvel Rivals. This toxic community. No, I'm just mainly referring to those type of people, like those who tell me to be nice to people that are one-tricks and those that constantly throw. Like, I gotta be nice to those people, but we gotta talk shit about somebody who, you know, or to call somebody antagonistic for wanting to win a tournament. Yeah, no, fuck every one of y'all. Alright, now it's time to de-escalate this whole situation and bring this video to a close. I want to hear from you guys now. What do you think of this whole controversy? What do you think of Zaza, CC, and Kingsman? What do you think of this whole situation? Do you agree with some of my takes? Do you disagree? I want to know in the comments below. And if you've been generous and have made it this far into the video, or at least towards the ending of the video, why don't you comment down below that we are here for the vibes. And if you are here for the vibes, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, because you are not going to miss out on future banger content. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed and you have a great rest of your day. I will catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.